Now, according to my sources on the internet, this happy painting of the children around the altar has also been painted over. Now, why should that be? It certainly is not offensive to the air travelers, such as the earlier murals obviously are. I believe the reason is because the prophecy of Barack Obama being elected president has already been fulfilled. But this next mural has not been fulfilled, and I believe it predicts the future of Barack Obama. Let's take a closer look at this mural. Now here, the leopard is dead. But it looks as if it is not just a dead leopard, but a sacrificed leopard. This looks like an altar. Under this altar are 3 caskets. This refers back to the book of Revelation in chapter 6. Here we see an African woman, a native Indian woman, and a Jewish girl in their caskets. Now, why shouldn't this painting be painted over? This is obviously a very disturbing image. Notice that the presider over this service is the same as the girl presiding in the previous mural. Notice the halo. Notice the wings. When is this leopard sacrificed on the altar of the New World Order? I believe when World War III breaks out. Notice this flame up to the sky. Notice how this flame surrounds this city. This city, by the way, has supposedly been painted over. Notice how these woods are also totally engulfed with flame. But what is the key to understanding this entire painting? The key can be found in this little girl in the background. She is holding a Mayan tablet. Let's take a closer look at this image. Now here, of course, we see the dead leopard, and this Mayan girl holding a Mayan tablet, which prophesies the destruction of the world, according to my sources on the internet. The hieroglyphics and images on this tablet show basically World War III. But notice the shape of this tablet. This is not an ordinary shape. What I believe this indicates is Russia. This is a map of the Soviet Union. This is a prophecy that Russia will defeat the leopard. This coincides perfectly with Daniel chapter 11, where the king of the north, that is the premier of Russia, defeats the king of the south, and that is the president of the United States, Barack Obama. Obviously, these murals at the Denver International Airport are prophetic. How they got to be that way, I don't know. In any event, we can see that some of these prophecies have been completed, and some are about to be completed.
What's on the murals?
I say that they are about what they plan to do to us, and the world as a whole. Not what has happened, or some fantasy. One of them, that is very unusual, has 3 caskets, with dead people in them.
That's part of the ritual, connected with the Skull and Bones Club.
Yes. There are evidently 3 groups of people that they would like to see dead. The first casket has what the artist told me was a Jewish American child, a little girl, and she has the star on her clothes, and a little Bible, and a locket.
Jewish lineage is passed through the female.
Yes, well, all these caskets depict women who are dead. Then, in the center casket, there is depicted a Native American woman, and the last casket has a black woman in it. Now, normally I would not have thought too much about these murals if I had not done a lot of research. Even in the government documents, I have run across gene splicing discussions on how they would like to splice out specific races, and also, whoever these people are, do not like the Jewish people. This is just one of the huge murals. This same mural depicts the destruction of a city, and the forest, and there is a little girl holding a Mayan tablet that speaks of the destruction of civilization. There is a mural that depicts this thing, standing over a city, that looks like a green Darth Vader, with a sword, that has destroyed the city. This character is huge, and there is a road depicted with women, walking, holding dead babies. This same mural extends over to another one, which depicts all of the children of the world, taking the weapons from each country on earth, and giving them to a central figure, which is a German boy who has this iron fist and anvil in his hand, that is totally out of proportion to the child's body, beating the swords into plowshares. I thought, well, this is very odd, depicting a German child doing this. What all of this symbology in the airport mural seems to convey is that not only do we have a secret society behind this, but that it is a German secret society, working in the vicinity of the New World Control Center.
It is interesting, when you consider Operation Paperclip, wherein all these Nazis were brought to the United States to be groomed, financed, and basically brought back into power.
The Georgia Guidestones give more evidence of a mass depopulation process in play. Could this be linked to a nationwide racial segregated genocide about to take place in the near future? Racial segregation, as discussed prior, did not end that long ago, and you all have to admit that the New Orleans catastrophe was extremely questionable. A test in which the government was able to administer FEMA camps and most likely test out their new HARP technologies. Let's take a look at what these tablets have to say.
On one of the highest hilltops, in Elberton County, Georgia, stands a huge granite monument. Engraved in 8 different languages, on the 4 giant stones that support the common capstone, are 10 guides or commandments. That monument is alternately referred to as the Georgia Guidestones, or the American Stonehenge. Though relatively unknown to most people, it is an important link to the occult hierarchy that dominates the world in which we live. The origin of that strange monument is shrouded in mystery, because no one knows the true identity of the man, or men, who commissioned its construction. All that is known for certain, as that in June 1979, a well-dressed, articulate stranger visited the office of the Elberton Granite Finishing Company, and announced that he wanted to build an edifice to transmit a message to mankind. He identified himself as R.C. Christian, but it soon became apparent that was not his real name. He said that he represented a group of men who wanted to offer direction to humanity. To date, almost 2 decades later, no one knows who R.C. Christian really was, or the names of those he represented. Several things are apparent. The messages engraved on the Georgia Guidestones deal with 4 major fields. 1. Governance and the establishment of a world government. 2. Population and reproduction control. 3. The environment and man's relationship to nature. And 4. Spirituality. In the public library in Elberton, a book was found, written by the man who called himself R.C. Christian. In the book, it stated that the monument he commissioned had been erected in recognition of Thomas Paine and the occult philosophy he espoused. Paine had written a book called The Age of Reason. Its intent was to destroy the Judeo-Christian beliefs upon which our republic was founded. Indeed, the Georgia Guidestones are used for occult ceremonies and mystic celebrations to this very day. Tragically, only one religious leader in the area had the courage to speak out against the American Stonehenge, and he has recently relocated his ministry.
Pretty crazy, huh? That's some of the newer MTV commercials they got going. It seems like they're trying to create a bunch of fear in our minds. I wonder what else they're trying to put in our minds. I know that they're putting fluoride in all of our drinking water, and it's found in the tap waters and the bath water we use. Let's check out that.
The fluoridation of the US's water supply has been going on for over 50 years. There has never been any testing on what it actually does to the pineal gland of the brain before 1990. Let's take a look at what the pineal gland is and what it does. The pineal gland, also called the pineal body, epiphysis cerebri, epiphysis, or the third eye. It produces melatonin, a hormone that affects the modulation of wake, sleep patterns, and photoperiodic, or seasonal functions. It is and is located near to the center of the brain, between the two hemispheres, tucked in a groove where the two rounded thalamic bodies join. The pineal gland is reddish-gray, shaped like a tiny pine cone, and about the size of a pea, 8 mm in humans. It is often seen in plain skull X-rays, as it is often calcified. Calcification is typically due to intake of the fluoride found in water and toothpaste. Now we know it is shaped like a pine cone and is the size of a pea, and fluoride calcifies it. Let's go back to where it mentions the third eye and see what that means. The third eye, also known as the inner eye, is a mystical and esoteric concept referring, in part to the ajna, brow, or chakra, in certain Eastern and Western spiritual traditions. It is also spoken of as the gate that leads within to inner realms and spaces of higher consciousness. In New Age spirituality, the third eye may alternately symbolize a state of enlightenment or the evocation of mental images having deeply personal spiritual or psychological significance. The third eye is often associated with visions, clairvoyance, precognition, and out-of-body experiences, and people who have allegedly developed the capacity to use their third eyes are sometimes known as seers. The true function of this mysterious gland has long been contemplated by philosophers and spiritual adepts. Ancient Greeks believed the pineal gland to be our connection to the realms of thought. Descartes called it the seat of the soul. This gland is activated by light, and it controls the various biorhythms of the body. It works in harmony with the hypothalamus gland, which directs the body's thirst, hunger, sexual desire, and the biological clock that determines our aging process. When the pineal gland awakens, one feels a pressure at the base of the brain. This pressure will often be experienced when connecting to higher frequency. A head injury can also activate the third eye. While the physiological function of the pineal gland has been unknown until recent times, mystical traditions and esoteric schools have long known this area in the middle of the brain to be the connecting link between the physical and spiritual worlds. I used to think, just how far down the foxhole do I need to go to find out exactly what it is that is being hid and what is it they want from us, when all I had to do all along was to look in the other direction, behind my eyes, in the center of my brain, to see it. It all makes perfect sense now.